So I start off by saying we weren't sure what we were going to talk about today, and we're just happy that we came together to talk. And part of what there's been a group of us that have kind of come together. I think those of you that have been part of the initial core group, you kind of raise your hands. And so what we started off by doing is having meetings at the Wild Granby and just begin to talk about, what could a proudly diverse caucus look like? What could it be? What are some areas that we could have conversations around? And really try to have some town hall meetings and some teach-ins to begin to just make ourselves aware of, what are the issues, get to know each other a little bit better, and then figure out, are there some things that we can do? Obviously, we've been centered in Norfolk, but we have a regional representation here. We know that some of the opportunities that we have and some of the successes that we have cross all the geographical lines that we have in Hampton Roads. So we talked about the next one, I think, maybe being around public safety. Brother Gordy kind of suggested that. There was an article that Roger Chesley wrote, an op-ed piece, dealing with Chief Goldsmith and some of the things that was going on in the community after he had the incident of the Norfolk State student being bitten by a dog. And part of what came out of, at least in Roger Chesley's opinion, he was aware that the police department was having community meetings and hot dogs and barbecues in individuals' homes and backyards. And several of the people in this room participated in those types of activities. And the point that Roger Chesley was making was that at a time of crisis, because people were just spending time together, talking through things, talking about issues in an informal way, when the crisis came, then people were able to come together and communicate, because now the barriers have been broken down some and relationships were beginning to be built. So I think we hope that those of you in the room will do some of that. Some of you I know, some of you I don't know. I know some folks probably meet folks for the first time. So I was actually quite serious in the beginning that as the springtime comes, that if you want to host a little backyard social, and we can talk about some of the things that we heard today and what we can do about it and how we can begin to build our relationships. I think that's something that we would advocate as a proudly diverse caucus. But then coming forward, we would like to have town hall meetings around public safety, around economics, around housing. Mark didn't get a chance to go through all of his presentation, and Billy, who was here, honed in on the fact that one of the first things he talked about was teacher quality, but it wasn't necessarily by priority. It just happened to be that was the slide that came first. If he had gone through the entire slide, you would have seen where he was touching on all the different things that were questions that were asked, because the things do work together or need to work together. So we would just ask that if you are interested in continuing these types of dialogues, to be involved with structuring their ideas that folks have, we're going to send out email about when our core group is meeting and when we'll be looking together to plan future events. There's no hierarchy. I don't even know if we have an organization, so to speak, yet. It's just a group of friends and a group of individuals that's coming together and saying, as was said earlier in the meeting, we need to talk about what works and figure out ways that we can grow a caucus of people around advocating for what works, and maybe even be willing to take some risk on behalf of the community as a whole. So, correct. So, Tommy, you have anything else you want to?
No, I'm excited for all of you guys to make it out today on what seems like the first beautiful, at least sunny day in a very long time, and thank you for your patience with the snow postponement that we had to make, but I'm so glad you guys are all here, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of each other, and tell your friends. And I think what Mr. Jordan just said here, this is the first step to breaking down barriers, and we're going to find that we have a lot more in common than we do different, and it starts here with these conversations. So
And the last thing I'll say, I want to thank Mark again. I was a little nervous as a school board member in Norfolk. I was a little nervous about reaching out to a superintendent from another district to come and just talk about his experiences. I just never know how people view things. And he talked about some experiences. He talked about the differences between districts. I thought it was a very good conversation. And when Mark and I were together at the summit, and WHRO came and videotaped it, at some point we'll have the video, we opened up talking about how we were brothers. Even though he's a Redskin fan, I'm a Cowboy fan. But we just got to know each other around things that we had passion about. And we found, I was happy that I, had this guy who was willing to talk about race and poverty and class and everything else. And so I think we just kind of formed a relationship around that. And so I want you to understand we just wanted to talk about education, talk about these issues. He has expertise in that area, and that's what this conversation was really to kind of gear up some of the data that he had done and some of the work that we had done together to just begin to talk about the issues among friends and neighbors so that we would be better informed as we may deal with some crises that come before us as a community, or as we may deal with opportunities to just move things forward. So with that, we're done with Vicki and Tanya. They got the refreshments. They made the signs. There is a Facebook page. If you haven't friended the Facebook page, please friend the Facebook page. And hopefully, I would think.
Tell them what the Facebook page is.
The
What's
Facebook
the full
page.
title of it?
Listen, the Proudly Diverse Caucus is,
Yeah.
is the Facebook page, so you can search for that. And hopefully in the April or May timeframe, we can continue to work together and come forward with another town hall meeting and hopefully have a couple of opportunities to just get together and fellowship. Maybe it's just over, going to Buffalo Wild Wings and watching the NCAA basketball game. But just try to stay together and be able to get to know one another. So thanks for coming, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.